Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Okay, so let's reset this and hope we do a lot better this time. So much less deaths this time. 3, 2, 1, go.
もうすぐだな、アドル。もうすぐエステリアだ。しかし早いものだな。
The bad thing about these headphones, they really get my head warm.
きっとどこも変わっちまってるんだろうな。何よりもあの5番のお頭がミネヤで店を始めたってんだから変わってねえわけがねえよな。早くこの目で見てえぜ。おお、そろそろバルバドの港に入るぜ。
Find some different ones to wear.
道義じゃねえか。それにそっちはアドルか。5番のお頭、久しぶりじゃねえか。この野郎、黙って出て行った君、2年間もどこほっつけはるってやった。何するんだよ、お頭。お頭が店を始めたって聞いて会いに来たっていうのに。そうか、だったら許してやるぜ。アドルもよく来てくれたな。ついてこいよ、みんな驚くぜ。二人とも元気そうじゃねえか。エステリアはすっかり変わっちまったぜ。それにしちゃお頭は昔のままじゃねえか。それで本当に盗賊から足を洗ったのかね。まあ少し安心したけどな。生意気言うんじゃねえ。盗賊からは足を洗ってもお前が俺の子分だってことは変わらねえんだからな。調子いいな、お頭は。もう勝手にしてくれや。そのお頭ってのはやめろよ。今は取引所のゴーバンさんだぜ。似合わねえな。うるせえ、この野郎。みんな聞け。アドルたちが戻ってきたぞ。それじゃあ俺たちはオーマンの酒場にいるからな。みんなに挨拶したらお前も来いよ。 俺は言ってやったんだよ。
勘弁してくれお頭。あれはひょっとして。お、やってきたな。
ようアドル、遅かったじゃねえか。お何難しい顔してるんだよ。さあここに座れよ。旅の話をたっぷりと聞かせてもらうぜ。いやー今日は楽しかったな。さあ俺の店に行こうぜ。今日はゆっくり休んで、明日は久しぶりのエステリアを見て回るといいぜ。さあ着いたぜ。ここが俺の店だ。遠慮しねえで入ってくれ。
開けてください、ゴーバンさん。
誰だこんな時間に。おお、リリアじゃないか。
朝早くにすみません。アドルさんたちが戻ったと聞いて。
アドルさんたちじゃなくてアドルに会いたいんだろ。分かってるって。待ってろ、今起こしてやるよ。おいアドル、アドル。おいドギ、アドルはどこだ。
なんだよお頭。アドルならそこに。おいアドル、どこに行ったんだ。アドル、アドル。
またしても失敗か。やはりあの力なしでは無理のようだな。
Okay. I think some of the big things to keep fresh in my head for this is going to be for this first section, just getting that menuing happening. Trying to get up 3 levels for the boss, which shouldn't be too difficult. So the first level on the way, and the second one. Yeah, it's just each area kind of getting 1 level. We're just trying to keep moving as fast as we can. And making sure we equip the dang items that we get when we buy them. So we don't have another incident like that one time when I bought the I got the broadsword and I forgot to equip it, and then Earth Element I was only able to ting it, so we just need to be a little more careful this time. I think this will be a lot of fun. Alright. So holding right, so we can get to that chest right away. Certain equipment. Equip just those two. And equipping the silver bracelet. We don't need to equip the shield because, frankly, our defense is going to be so high anyway. Just comparatively to where we are in the game, because what we have right now is endgame equipment that we're going to lose soon. So, our screen just going to just keep moving. If I find enemies, I'll try to run into them, but you know, this game is all bump combat, so I need to run into enemies. Don't get to swing your sword. This is New Game Plus. We've equipped the silver bracelet, which gives us double experience for enemies when we defeat them, so it is going to speed things up a little bit. And cutscene. Didn't get to level 2 yet, but that won't be too difficult. More of a would be nice, but it's not going to hurt anything.
ただの女がこんなところをうろついてるわけがないだろう。おとなしく。ん？なんだお前は。さてはお前もこの女の仲間だな。お前らまとめて牢屋に放り込んでやる。
心配ないわ。気を失っているだけだから。私はカーナ。
One thing I don't like in this game is after this one cutscene, there's no cue for you to push the button to get to the next cutscene. It's just be mashing right now, and then you'll get to the next cutscene. If you don't mash, you'll just stay paused. So really odd. But that was Karna. She's the leader of a local militia against the Roman army, led by your General Leo. Not to be confused with General Leo from Final Fantasy VI. This one's more evilish, but we'll get into more about him later. But he does like to show off his tank. As he sees us in the armor and everything, I think he feels a little bit intimidated. This game was not developed by Falcom, it was actually developed by Hudson Soft, so kind of a fascinating one. They subcontracted out the programming for this one to actually both Hudson Soft and Tonkin House. Tonkin House did the Super Famicom one, Mask of the Sun, and Hudson Soft did this one, Dawn of Ys. Gave them both kind of rough frameworks for the story and compositions for the music, and said, hey, work on making the music for it yourself type thing. So probably more details to it. Here we've got Durin. We meet kind of the scoundrelish character. He really doesn't have as much interaction in the story, but he does appear sometimes. We're playing Ys Memories in Celceta, or Memories of Celceta. You'll see him a lot more. So he looks quite a bit different in that one. But when he's bored in prison, I guess he does what a lot of people do, I guess. Just walk around the perimeter really, really fast. Like the little break sound there. I'm just gonna hold right as mashing the one button. And there we go. So much interaction here.
なんだ誰だお前は
静かにして今鍵を壊すわ
なんだか知らねえがとにかくありがてえや
静かにしてって言ってるでしょさあこっちよ
Thankfully, Karna breaks us out. Might be a recruitment tool for more people to get into our militia, but tough to say. I don't remember as much, and this is the Japanese version, so I can't read it to tell you. So we go from the best equipment to the worst. Basically, this is what all the soldiers wear, so it works out well for us. And we don't have to equip it too. What a thoughtful game. Oh, so they found out that we are busting out, so of course the guards wouldn't be too happy about that one. We have a couple options here. What we're going to do is just we're going to get some guards coming to fight us. Thankfully, we can just get around by just getting out of there. There we go. Back to the good music. My favorite music in the game here. By the way, the music in this game is really, really good, so. Alright, so now we can finally move again. We have some monsters that will give us much better experience. I'm kind of focusing on these, ogreish ones. Get up one more level. There we go. And if you see my splits, they have those numbers there. It's to help me kind of help me remember what I'm supposed to be leveling up to. We don't see the level, we see mostly the max HP on this. That was something I got from Mabo watching his. He pretty much holds the world record for this game, though it's not really on speedrun.com or anything, but on Nico Nico Doga. It's 3 hours, around 3 hours and 10 minutes, which is quite absurd, but really good stuff. So we just talked to Karna, we're in the Fire Village, and now we're talking to Dr. Flare, who we met in previous games. So, one thing, if you played Book of Ys 1 and 2, you'll probably have a lot of nostalgia come up in this one. Some good ways, though. Alright, so he's done talking to us, so I'm going to just go in here. This run is very offense focused in terms of equipment. We're not going to have oops, forgot about that. We're not going to have a lot of new armor until near the end of the game. Which is fine. So we're done talking to the Elder, who tells us that guy Lemnis is trapped in the mine and we have to get him. So that's what we're going to do. It's also the place for our first boss. So. One thing you'll see me probably do a little bit more starting here is saving a bunch. And that's because it is very easy to die in this combat. The iframes aren't really there. They're kind of here in this game, but you don't get a lot from them. So we just have to do the best we can. Making our way around this. We got that extra level. to level 4, which gives us about 44 hit points if we're max. So we keep going around. And I'm going to equip the herb because now we got our first boss fight. I'm not saving beforehand because the boss battles, if you die, you'll get put right beforehand, even if you didn't save. So, a nice feature. This is the creeper creature. Creeping creature, or I like to call it a belcher. You'll see why, or hear why. So, let's touch the stuff and just rinse and repeat. This looks slightly easy, but it's actually very deceptively tough because if you get too close, your hit points will go down very quick. So, probably one of the hardest battles of the game, but eventually you start getting it. Now, when this boss gets to about a quarter of its life left, it's going to move a lot faster. We're going to have to make kind of wider passes. Like that. There, now it's moving pretty quick. And the last hit, I can just go right through the front. There we go. It's not too bad there. And it was Lemnis all along. So Karna and someone from the village is there to help collect that person and bring him back to the village. Poor Lemnis.
闇の一族がスラム様の墓をお守りせねば。
レムノス、どうしてあなたがこんな姿に。とにかくこの
It's not too bad so far. Doing pretty good on time.
アドルさん、レムノスは私たちが村まで運ぶから、あなたも気をつけて戻って。
I'm going to hold down. Now, the tough thing is her assistant there, which I think is actually the assistant from the clinic that we saw earlier, but I'm going to try to get alongside on. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to re-equip the silver bracelet. It's part of the New Game Plus. And with New Game Plus in this game, essentially you have to beat the game first to get access to it, but then it lets you go to the dev room where you can go to the top floor and talk to someone there. And they'll let you start the game with a gold bracelet and silver bracelet. Normally those are keys for some teleporter things later on. But they also can, if you're equipped, you have them equipped, they can double your experience or gold, depending on what you have equipped. So the silver doubles your gold or your experience, the gold doubles your gold. So that was pretty good there. And we're going a bit further. So I'm doing this run, this New Game Plus one a bit more, just because it's a little bit shorter, because 3 hours, 3.5 hours is a long run, so this does give us an advantage of a little bit more speed, just because of faster level ups. Now that we're done with the mine, we're going back to the Fire Village. Gonna see how things are going for Lemnis. Dr. Flare's coming out. And Karna's gonna go and she heard that the bad guys who did that possibly to Lemnis, the Clan of Darkness, are going to the Fire Mountain to get a treasure that's there. So she's on her way there and we're gonna follow. So go up here and take care of that enemy and come back. Push a bit more and save. When in doubt, save in this game. Seriously, it can save you a lot of time if you're getting into a spot that's pretty risky. So, in this combat, you do not want to usually fight enemies head on. You want to be slightly off their position. Otherwise, they will hurt you. It's kind of a weird detail of the bump combat in this game. But a A lot of the dungeons as well in this game are very maze-like, so part of learning the run is memorizing which ways to go. And 3 hours, there's a lot to get memorized, but the more you practice, the more you kind of get it down, so it goes pretty well. And saving, because right now I'm still on the very early armor in the game, but I do want to defeat enemies because they reduce the amount of grinding that I need to do later. And I need to get up, I was at 56, so that means I need to get up to, or I was at 58, no, 52, so I need to go up 3 levels. So first time we're going to get in here is the treasure box key. Guess what it does? It lets us open up certain treasure boxes, so kind of a weird item, but you'll need it for, we need it for another item as well in the game besides the one that has direct game progression for us. So again, I'm saving because you can tell I got hit once or a couple times by an enemy, and they hit hard. They hit really quick, so we're able to do that to enemies, but they're also able to do that to us, so it gets to be a bit tense at some points. We got the Mattock, which I suppose they just always are just kept in the fire cave for some reason, but for this game anyway. We'll just keep going around here. There we go, went up on level, and with the Mattock, you get just past this point, and then you need to do that in order to get to the across the gap down below. So after that, we'll re-equip silver bracelet for that experience bonus. It's going to be doubling it, so we definitely need it. On to the next screen. Again, just a lot to get through. And if I don't get the full levels I'm looking for by that time, it's not going to be a huge problem, since there's going to be in the area before the boss, there are some enemies that really give huge amounts of experience, so well. And for safety, I am going to get this herb here. The game does have a nice feature where if you have an herb already, then it will go ahead and when you get another herb, it'll ask you if you want to use the herb you already have. So it just kind of saves you a little bit of time. Alright, so now we're in the fire shrine, or the fire pyramid. Or temple, however. So we need to go up 2 levels. And thankfully, enemies here give great experience. But one thing to note is, if Karna defeats the enemy, I do not get any experience. It's the same with any other companions in this game, so it's kind of annoying, but it's just part of the game. And just one more. Wow, this game is really being mean. There we go. Now we got our experience. We can take on the boss. I'm going to, for safety, just put on the herb in case. So now we have the flame flinger. That's what it does. I get two or three hits there right away. So the pattern that I found up here is a lot of these bosses have patterns that are really tough to figure out. But this one is nice because it has this little spot that you can just keep going there. And then just has some nice spots to be able to get some good damage on this boss. Alright, so we got the boss down there pretty good, but Not as much as I would like, but that's okay. Over here. There we go. A little bit slower than my last time, but that's okay. And we meet one of the sages, I guess. I gotta figure out what their titles specifically are, but he's going to give us the fire wand, which will give us the ability to throw fireballs. There are 4 other people like him in this game, like different shrines as well, that we'll go to defeat bosses to get those. They're important because if we get all those, then we can meet with a special character later on. So, either way, these wands also are what the Clan of Darkness are coveting, so we need to be careful. They want to hurt us to get those. Otherwise, the boss fight went fine, since we didn't have to use the herb. So, I'm going to equip the one there, and get that back equipped. So now we have the ability to cast magic fireballs like that. Cool thing with those fireballs, you can actually charge them like Mega Man or whatever else to do shoot a bunch of them out. But can't mash too fast with the fireballs in this game, or else you're not going to get out as many as you'd like. You almost have to have a nice steady pattern with them. Trying a turbo on this will just not work. Unless you time it just right, like a very slow turbo. So here we have the Clan of Darkness, or at least the leaders of it. Person in blue is Garuda. The one with strawberry-colored hair is Bami, and the one with the really big mouth there is Gaddis. Not sure if he's vanilla or banana flavored. Bami's kind of strawberry, and Garuda's probably blue raspberry. They're pretty much the big villains of the game that we'll see meet a few times throughout the game. So they do a good job in making him look sinister for some reason. Like either the eternal furrowed brow or whatever else. But the reason I'm playing the Japanese version today is I have a hunch that it's a little bit faster than the fan translated one. Because I still need to do some testing to confirm it, but that one, I think they added possibly some text boxes or made them a little bit wider. So, but I got to do some testing just to confirm that. So, take my word on that with a grain of salt. If you're wondering why I'm talking a lot about this at this point, it's because on February 8th, I'll be playing this on RPG Limit Break Random Encounters at 9 p.m. PST, noon EST, so should be a good time. After this run that day, Shadowheim will be playing Ease vs. Trails Alternate Saga, so good day of Ease. Things are starting to get shaky like an Indiana Jones movie, so we are going to keep heading out here. Thankfully, it's just isolated to that temple, so we can just get out of there. It did affect, though, the landscape a bit, so we have a faster way to get out. But definitely changes where we can go now. With this game, the enemies, as you get higher in level, the enemies give less and less experience, so kind of a neat way to prevent grinding really getting way overpowered early on. They just kind of have some type of equation in their code to prevent that, so works out well. Alright, down at the Fire Mountain, so here Karna is going to give us a flute that lets us call a bird Roos. Kind of a neat way if you're playing this casually, just to get a hint of where to go and whatnot. But we're not going to use this at all because we don't need to. If you want the best items in the game, then yeah, you have to use that a little bit, but we're not going to during this run. Alright, so we're on our way to, finally to Salsetta, the forest here, and also some people recognize it from Memories in Salsetta, because that is a remake of this game. Or of Mask of the Sun. So, also has some fantastic music here as well. Just going towards the next village, which is the Village of Wind. Just defeating enemies as I go along. I need to go up 2 levels per my route, so that Mabo created, so. And Mabo, shout outs to him since he did definitely help me a bit for answering some questions I had on some certain parts of his run. So, it's really cool. We gotta get a couple levels, but thankfully we have an easy spot to do that with. So, the enemies just keep respawning there. We can just defeat them this way. Hey, Ferial. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Need to get just one more level. Then we keep going. Doing alright, buddy? Doing alright. Like you said, just kind of a lazy Sunday. Gotta get them out done, though. But, got some neat news. Got invited by Ghost Kumo to be on to RPG Limit Break Random Encounters for this game on February 8th. So, that'll be a fun time. Well, I'm kind of practicing a little bit of commentary. But yay, I did that part right this time. Otherwise, game-wise, I'm getting hooked on Ball Pit, or Ball X Pit. That game is, definitely gets some of the, details I like about Vampire Survivors, but also has a neat town building element to it. But I heard some people say, oh, Ball X Pit is just kind of a mindless game. I'm like, no, there's some thought to it. Fun game, so. But also that day on February 8th, after that run, she'll be about I put my estimate at 3 hours and 40 minutes. But then Stadelheim's doing Ys versus Trails in the Sky Ultimate Saga, so that'll be really cool. So it was really cool news. But yay! I don't think this game's been shown off at like any type of streaming thing like that or not, so it's really cool to be able to show it off. I haven't checked on, I didn't see it on Nico Nico Doga though, or at all, so, but I'm not sure if like Mabo ran it at something or whatnot, but all good things. Hoping I die a lot less than yesterday. That was getting rough.
太陽の仮面と共にこの地に逃れる。未開の地であったセルセタはエルディーンの
So this is one of the first main sages of the game that we talked to. He's going to give us kind of each of those three mages gives us kind of a chunk of the story, like the history of this place, and we're learning about the winged ones and how things were pretty nice until this bad guy, Lord of Slaughter. His name's Arem, but Lord of Slaughter, that kind of puts a big indication on the type of person he is here. But after we talk to each of the mages, they give us an orb that we can basically use to recant the story later on if we want to. Don't accidentally do it during a run, or else you'll lose a few minutes. But neat element, neat way to do that. If we could skip these cutscenes, it would be great, because each one's about 3 to 4 minutes. But it gives you a nice break just to relax a little bit and recover. And remember what you gotta do in the next part. So, for me, I need to get to the top of this tree and then fight a boss. So, it's kind of a pain. But there's some good strategies that I've been gleaning from Mabo's runs. So those have been very helpful. There's the Orb of Darkness. And a nice tip, save after every cutscene like that, or else if you die, you're probably going to have to see it again. So be good to yourself. Try to avoid that. This music in this game is kind of light jazz, which is fine. It does give you a feel of like the Weather Channel back then, but it's all good stuff. Alright, got through that without too much problem. Equipping the herb and boss time. So this is the Wood Warder. Fascinating name to it, but fireballs like that, charging up a shot. Swoops in, hit it with a charge shot, or try to. And more, charge shot. There we go, much better. Ugh, terrible. And part of this battle is really just trying to kind of be careful with those feathers. I'll also I'm actually doing pretty decent on this one this time. Around that time, almost done. There we go. Not the best battle, but we didn't have to use the herb, so that's always good. No death this time. So yesterday I died twice. Here we have the Cid. I'm just kidding. We have the next sage who's going to give us the altar wand. Again, I'm not sure if I call him sage or just the savior of this land, one of his party members. There we go. He's going to give us the altar wand that lets us change our form into the form of a roo, which also, kind of a kangaroo type thing, but also lets us talk to enemies instead of fight them, and gives us invulnerability from those attacks, which helps when we're going through some areas under level. I'm going to keep my equipment as it is, because I want that herb to stay equipped, because I'm going to use it later. And then we'll just keep going here. Saving to be safe. And keeping on going here. Those enemies hit hard. The deadliest enemies in this game are the most mobile ones. If they're fast and moving around quite a bit, those are the scariest. There are some that are also invisible in this game, so it does definitely give some tension. Alright, so we're coming back down. And the Elder thought that was pretty cool, so he wants to talk to us. I think he also heard we talked with the Sage. But this all works out well because he's going to give us a really good item that we'll use in the game a lot too. The Ring of Loda, or the Ring of Rhoda, however. That will basically... It allows your MP to slowly recover, which is very important. So, we're going to equip those two. Now we're like a Roo. When I think about this screen, for some reason, you can't really open your window during it to equip things, so it doesn't help me so much. So now we're going to go out through the north side of this place, but the Roo also lets us swim. Really good ability. If you unequip that when you're swimming, I think your character, I think it's an insta-death, but I haven't tried it, so. There wasn't much reason for me to test it. Now we're just going to be getting out of here. I'm keeping in this form because there are some cutscenes in this game where if you're in the Roo form, the cutscenes will be shorter or not at all. But it's mainly these spots where there's some vocal conversation. So they're pretty much just talking about me getting more wands, and hey, they should kill me, but Gerda's like, no, wait on that, so a little bit of planning.
また報告かい？なんでいちいちあいつの指示を仰がなきゃいけないんだよ。
だからいつも言ってるだろう。まずはあいつの信用を得るのだ。そうすれば。
ああ、わかってるよ。言われた通りにするよ。
I'll say if you're playing the English version of this, the voices are actually fairly competent compared to Ys 3 Wanderers from Ys for the same system. Those voices can be quite laughable. So we're going to cross this long, foreboding bridge. And what's going to happen? Of course, our buddy Gaddis is here to help give us a nice safety test. Or just kill us. How's it going to do it? Just chopping that down. Cool use of perspective in this game. They did a great job with the pixel art. Now we meet Lisa from the Earth Village. She's going to help us. She's a nice person. Even though we are Roo, which I guess are considered demons in this game. Not sure what they're considered in other games, but however. Alright, so then from here, use the herb. It'll help us later on. And some more awesome music. And we got another cutscene coming up, which you can avoid, but if you do, you're going to have to come back because you need to talk to her in order to get into that little building down there. She says she's thinking about a certain someone we don't really know about yet. Certain him, but we'll find out sooner and later.
しの間だけ忘れられる。あ、ごめんなさいね。こんなお話しちゃって。さあ、もう行かなきゃ。元気でね。
So after she leaves, we'll change our equipment slightly. And there we go. And equip the silver bracelet. So get that good experience going. Now saving is important because the enemies we're going to be encountering on our way to the Earth Village can be a bit tough. So thankfully the fireballs can be great in kind of pushing enemies back a little bit as they hits them. So works out very nice. We only have 3 of these on the screen at a time, for better or worse. Now if I take a little bit of damage, that's fine. That's just going to be something that can occur here. Alright. So we'll do a couple things here. First we're going to buy some items. A couple are important later on in the game, but a huge one is getting an herb. And then we'll talk to Schultz. Who is the mayor of the Earth Village. So on our way to the Sacred Castle. At least that's what it's called in the fan translation. So a lot of the names I have for places and whatever in this are part of the fan translation. So I think they're somewhat literal on their translation. And into shooting these just in case I encounter an enemy up there. And we need to go up 4 levels. Thankfully, enemies here will give us experience very quickly. Just save. Because if they get too close, they can kind of end some efforts kind of quickly. Like that. So. Still okay, though. Level. Two level. Level. One more level to go. The thing about the fireballs is you do pretty good damage against the enemies, but also it kind of helps keep their distance, because when you get close, your health goes down very quickly if they start getting hits on you. Right, so then I'm going to switch to the altar form and then get get one item that we can get right now, which is a broadsword for free. You can get this a different way in the game. Earlier on, when we were in the forest, you can find an item for Robin, one of the monsters there, who will talk to you like that. But a little fetch quest, but doing it this way is a little bit easier. If you get that from him, that chest will be empty when you get here. So, getting through the rest of this, and this can be a very, if it's your first time playing this dungeon can be quite a maze to kind of figure out. Just getting that refill from the herb there, and going on a little bit more. There's a monster just right in front of it. These monsters give you time loss just by having conversations with you, so introversion in this game is the key to a faster run. Just avoiding conversation as you can. Shouts to any of the introverts out there. Alright, so again we are in this form. We got a little bit of a load, which is why it's paused here. So once the CD starts spinning again, we'll be going. Come on. Gonna try opening and closing the thing there. There we go. That was a nice 20 seconds of time loss just from the game being the game. Which is why probably eventually I'll probably just start playing this on the Mister and leaving it on there. But now if we weren't in this form, that monster, we would have had a longer cutscene. But because she would have been like, "Oh, Adol," or "Who are you?" type thing. So this boss is a huge pain. Mother of monsters. So kind of the pattern has those wacky, wavy, inflatable arms, but basically we got to get hits as we can between these cycles of it popping its head out and between it just spits out these, so then we just do a charge shot test to try to defeat those a little bit faster. Those arms are really annoying. But a nice charge shot does help out quite a bit. One thing you can do is just let the last one just sit for a little bit, and then you'll be able to, there you go, be able to just take it out a little bit faster, or not have, it won't spit out those three. So then we'll put this. If we did not do that, we would have had a spoken word cutscene there again. So. So I'm doing much better than yesterday for sure. Thankfully, we are already set for fighting the next boss, but unfortunately, Gaddis took our wands, the Fire Wand and the Altar Wand. Compared to other games I've played, this game really does a great job in integrating items and relics and other mechanisms of the game into the story, so it's something to keep in mind when taking those wands from us. There's Durin, and here we find out that he used to be part of the Clan of Darkness, then got out of it. throws a dagger at Garuda, which is kind of a mean move to do, but I guess maybe that's kind of their old way of a handshake or something. I don't know. But probably some bad feelings between them. Who knows? Hard to say when it's not the English version.
ごめんなさい。私のせいであなたの大事なものを。
おいおいおいおい、一体どうなってんだよ、
And
アドル。
Durin's like, hey, where's all the gold in this place? Where's all the treasure? So, being that scoundrel archetype, I guess, that kind of fits in.
闇の一族とは唐の昔に手を切ったんだ。おうおう、信じる信じねえはお前の勝手だがな。とにかくあいつらの後を追うぜ。俺はこの姉ちゃんを守りながら行くから、お前が先に行ってくれ。
He says, go in there, Adol will follow you. And this is a good time for me to take a quick break while the game keeps playing, because it's going to be about, I want to say 5 minutes at least or so. So, I'll be right back.
リーザか。もうここへは来るなと言ったはずだ。ほほう。君がアドル・クリスティンか。私の名はエルディー。高貴なる有力人の末裔。君の噂は聞いているよ。イースを救った英雄に会えるとは私も光栄だ。その君に見せたいものがある。イースでの戦いを思い返してくれ。君が倒したダウムとかいう魔物はこんな姿ではなかったかね。驚いたかい。君たちが黒い真珠と呼んでいたこの石にまた会えるとは思わなかった。我ら有力人はこれを物言う石と呼んでいる。物言う石は古代よりの知識を受け継ぎ魔法の力を生み出す。だが勘違いしてなってはならぬ。この石は大いなる力を受け取るただの道具に過ぎないんだ。そして今この物言う石の持つ力が私の体に宿る時が来た。見るがよい。これで物言う石の力は全て我がものとなった。素晴らしい気分だ。もはやこんなものは必要ない。砕けろ。お、石が。だがこれで終わったわけではない。この私が大いなる力の源である太陽の仮面と一体になった時、全ては達成されるのだ。その時こそ世界が私の前にひれ伏すだろう。もうこの聖域に用はない。アドル、その悪あがきをこの辺で終わりにさせて。死ね。アドル。これで邪魔者はいなくなった。さあ行くぞ。
気がついたんですね。ここは私の家です。気を失ったあなたをデュレンさんがここまで運んでくれたんです。それからデュレンさんはあの3人を追うと言って出て行きました。父の手術からあなたにお話しすることがあります。どうかお聞きください。
リーザを助けていただき感謝の言葉もありません。アドルさん、あなたならこのセルセタを救えるかもしれない。私たちの秘密をお話ししましょう。
Okie dokie.
聖域に住む
Unmarked quadrangles, whatever.
先祖
You are banned.
家系は彼ら
Think
を
you're
世話
scamming
す
somewhere
る
else,
ことを
please.
していたのです。
Or to stop it and find something better for your life to do. Probably a bot,
私
but
が聖域に通っていることは
just don't.
父と村長以外村の人たちには秘密なのです。
あの方が聖域に住んでいる理由は私にもわかりません。ただ言えるのは、あの方が最後の有力人であるということ。
エルディール様は以前はとても心の
So coming back to it, we probably saw it all got blasted with lightning and brought back here. After Eldeal, the last winged one, absorbed the power from the speaking stone, which I think those were part of Ease 1 as well. Ease 1 or 2. But he was kind of a lonely person, and she would visit him and talk about stuff and whatever, but it seemed like he changed at some point, likely when he met up with the Clan of Darkness. So he's kind of venting about how he's changed a bit. And used to be nice, but then got mean after he met the trio.
ほとんど会ってもくれませんでした。
そのことを娘から聞いて思ったのです。
Yeah, he still looks like Joseph Joestar from the second series of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to me. But it's the bandanas, I think.
お願いです、アドルさん。闇の一族を倒し、エルディール様を。いえ、このセルセタを救ってください。
Alright, so next spot here, we're going to go to this part, and we'll get the sand whistle, which we need to get into the next shrine. Wow, that was a close one. Sometimes the monsters can be really nice, or sometimes they can be really mean as you're walking through here. Or through here. So we're going to go to the next section, since now we can get through a gate that was on the east side of the Sacred Castle. And it'll take us to the quicksand area, and we can go from there. I'm going to equip the sand whistle, as we'll need that for the next section. Not going to fight a lot of enemies before the next boss, so I'm not going to do much with it otherwise. Now we get that little opening there, and we go through here. And a fancy strat here I learned, just hold right. I am playing this game in 6-button mode, which does give me some shortcuts for menus, mainly just to open them up. Normally, if you're playing with the 2-button system, you press the 2 button to open up the menu and select which one you want to go into from there. So it does give me the ability to do some things a little bit faster, but it's not a horrible game-breaking thing. It's just helpful. It was built into the game. So here, if you just walk to that spot and you're facing away from it, you don't have to talk to it. You just play the sand whistle, and we get this little pyramid come up. I'm going to put the herb to be ready for the next boss. And Durin wants to come with, because he wants to find some gold. Gosh darn it. And we're going to save, because it's been 15 minutes and I should have saved a lot sooner than that. That's okay. Alright, then boss time here. So, I've got the earth element. I gotta shake over the tail. Hoping for a 2-cycle, but... Okay, hopefully that was enough. So this boss here, it's a bit of RNG in terms of when it's going to come up again. But keeping my eye on my health, and I am going to be using an herb. It's just going to happen. Just trying to time it when it comes up here. So it's generally in the same area each time. Oh, that was close to a 2-cycle. Not quite. Alignment can be sometimes hard to keep, going back and forth. It seems like it's easy, but with diagonal movement on this game, it's easy to accidentally go off of the y-axis. I think I need to get a better strategy to make sure, like maybe just going to circle on that or somewhere diagonally like this. But just need to wait for that boss to finish doing its thing again. And you might get hit, but that's okay. Big thing is just trying to keep around this area so when it does come up, I'm ready just to attack it. Alright, so did lose some time from that cycle, but that's okay. And then we get another item. This time it's one of the most useful magic in this game. This one allows us to warp between places, so the warp wand.
正義の意志の前に越えられぬ壁はない。あなたに瞬時にして空間を渡る力を託します。
Alright, so then we're going to equip that, and then we're going to re-equip the silver bracelet. So any other enemies we defeat for now are going to give us some nice little experience. Now one painful thing of having that warp wand equipped is if I hit the 1 button, which is normally to cast a spell, it is going to open up a menu for warping somewhere, so something for myself to keep in mind. So here we need to get to the top of the screen, and there is a bit of a route that that Mabo came up with that's pretty consistent and works pretty well. So it's a lot of just going through these. We have a neat glitch coming up as well. Oh, there we go. So, go up here, save the game, load the game, hold right, and we just get a nice little shortcut there. Nice and easy one. Again, just saving just to keep the progress if I have an accidental death. And there, we're going to get to the water village and meet this grandpa, who is pleading with the villagers to help him get his son back, who was trapped in the ice mountain. Before we go to help him, though, we're going to warp a couple times to get ourselves some good items and prep. So it just gives us kind of a look before we go. So we're going to first go back to the town that we started in, Promalok. Or started when we got to this island. And we're going to buy the Gladius sword. Or Gradius, however you want to say it. And then we're going to warp to the Fire Village, pick up another item. As well as an herb, which happens to be along the way. And then going back to that mine, since there was a chest that was locked, and we could have got this a lot sooner, but it's a lot more advantageous for us to wait until this point. Because once we get it, now we can warp out. So warp magic saves us just a bit of time in that regard. Enemies aren't going to be able to do too much damage to us here since we're much higher level than we were before. Around here and get the chest. This is the power ring, which makes it so then it doubles damage with our sword against enemies. So warp back to the water village and equip those new items that we just purchased or found. So power ring and the Gradius or Gradius. So right now our level is about 1-6, so we're going to get 1 level on our way up and then fight the next boss, the Ice Immurer. A fascinating name. And some more nice Weather Channel type music. Some nice light jazz. And saving a lot here because the enemies here can hit very, very hard. Especially since we have really crappy armor at this point. You can see that was quite a rough hit. Oof. So enemies in this game, if they're more mobile, they're more scary because then the bump combat, they really can hit hard, which is not a good thing for us. I'm going to see if I can get out of this real quick because I forgot to equip the herb, which is not a good thing. Okay, I'm going to back out to do that. Hopefully it... Oh, it does repeat this cutscene. Well, that's new. That probably cost us about 10 seconds, so that's unpleasant, but could be worse. But we need that herb or else we're not going to do very well at all, so... I'm just going to go ahead and use it. Alright, I'm going to stand over here. So this boss is usually a 3-cycle boss, but it can be a huge, huge pain to learn this boss because it is not an easy one. These cycles here are not as bad, it's just this part really sucks, just in terms of those ice, because their movement can be a little unpredictable. But it's just trying to move along with that best you can. And you just have these parts where you just have to move around and you can't hurt it. You see little Timmy just stuck in the evil monster. Now, sometimes I'm able to get hits just on it while it's out here. But it's just... There we go. That was a good fight. Hey, Ventric, thanks for the salute. Hope you're doing well, buddy. That was a good boss fight against the Isomer. Would have been a little bit better with that one part, but whatever. Still learning this route. Thanks for the good luck. more commentary since I'm prepping for random encounters on Feb 8th, which I'll be presenting or showing this game off. So, on RPG Limit Breaks Twitch channel at 9 a.m. PST, noon EST. So, should be neat. But for today, I'm running with the Japanese version because I think it's probably a little bit faster than the English version. Still thinking of that, but could be wrong. So just practicing some commentary as I go.
では剣士殿、わしらはリブラの村に戻ります。いつでも立ち寄ってくだされ。
Alright, so Timmy just told us about something to check out in the Ice Mountain, which is this one house, which has, I like to call it the Lighthouse Baby, but, starts talking then, really bright lights. The Japanese version, they made the voice a bit higher pitched, but in the fan translation, they didn't pitch it up, which is fine. But again, another sage that we have to talk to, so it's going to be another third of the story before we learned about how things were good, and then Lord Arem came about. There's Arem again, with his two beefy soldiers, keeping people sad between them, because they don't know what to do when you have people with big shoulder pads and swords surrounding you like that. This is where we learn about the great hero, Lord Lafons, or some people like to say Arthur Lafonzarelli, but that's just the Fonz. But he had 5 people who helped him as party, some that you recognize through some of the areas that we've been to get wands. Like, you had to get into the monolith to do that, so. There's another nice picture of the Cid there. But, so we met the first, the second, and the 5th one. But they helped him out in their battle of armor, or of shoulder pads there. Either going with the really big pauldrons with the stake on it, looks like, or the tasteful double that's there. So, cool fight. Looks a little bit like Adol, but that's just how the game goes. So after that is pauldrons relaxed and kind of went down a little bit. And they created the Mask of the Sun, that with that he was able to create the City of Gold. And there's also another mask called the Mask of the Moon that's able to control it if someone, it's just kind of the counterpart if someone has the Mask of the Sun and they just kind of take a turn towards wanting to kill everything. So, good thing that they put that safeguard in. So then, talk to Enzo's mom there. She'll give us the mask, or the ball, or the orb of light. And then we're going to warp back to the water village and talk to the mayor. And we'll see this happen here. So Timmy's back, yay! And Grandpa notes that he has a scratch on his leg a little bit. And he's like, oh, that's nothing. But then Timmy starts slowing down, and kind of a bad effect to it. It's actually turning him into stone like this. So. So it's asking, oh no, is there a doctor? can help out. Thankfully, there is a doctor that we met earlier on, Dr. Flare, so we're going to warp to and talk to him. So let's go do that. Works well because we need an herb anyway. And he notices we have a warp wand, so he says, hey, let's go there quickly. So it's kind of a cool element there. That he just kind of knows about it. And then we'll talk to the mayor, who says that we can possibly use someone's boat to try to find the flower of Salsetta, which we need in order to help out a bit. So we first need to talk to this person in here called Gilliam. And he'll let us use this raft, which then puts that raft over there that I forgot to do earlier. I'm going to save because this can be a little bit of a risky spot. But we'll be fine. I'm just going to go up here. And actually I'm going to re-equip the power ring and equip... Yep, that's good there. So we'll just equip that. There we go. So we're going across this lake. Has some neat stuff if you are able to explore it a little bit later. Because that one monster does let us be able to, when we're in that monster form, we can swim. And we'll have to come through here again. So one spot, it's basically putting us to where we can find this one door, which we don't need to get into yet. But it's kind of giving us a little foreshadowing that we're just going to just be going onto this spot just so that we're able to transition sooner into the next area. We are just on a raft going to the next spot. Holy biscuits, these monsters. That's why I saved. This game, sometimes the monsters can just be just absolutely ridiculous. Just hit you hard. So we got to a tough part of the river now, so we're going to see a cool effect here. Perspective change. Very cool. And Adol's okay, even though I guess he washed up upon the shore, not just landed on the ground. Probably wouldn't have been as good, but... Here we got the Clan of Darkness, who are like, oh, he's still following us. We need to do something. And Gaddis like, let's kill him. Bommy's like, oh, let's do something different. I have a better idea. She can turn things into monsters, or change people into monsters, like she did to Lemnis. So now we're this squid-like thing, cotton candy, I don't know. And they're basically like, well, have fun. If you try to summon the bird over there that you can do with a wind flute, funny thing is they'll just fly away because like, oh gosh, I'm not going to talk to you, monster. So one thing I'm going to do is, I forgot, I'm actually going to change the gold bracelet because I'm going to get, trying something different in my route. Because the goal here is, with a certain grind, to get up to 10,000 gold. So I want to do that sooner than later, so I'm going to do it this way. Now we hear them talking. And it sounds like Garuda's talking to Eldiel. So just keeping tabs on them. Thankfully in this form we can still attack enemies, so it works out well. Here we just stumble upon the Tablet of Sorrow, which will become important later on. And we'll just go up these steps. So we have one more sage to talk to. Going to save because do not want an accidental death happening here. Go up through here. And the last sage we're going to talk to, who's telling us the last part of the story. And they like to have their flashlight eyes kind of available to tell us the story. And she's probably been waiting there for quite a while. So then it kind of talks about later on with Dark Fact and Sig Fact, who has rubies, looks like, on his pauldrons. So, also a person looks like he could use some eye drops. Like me sometimes. And Parva's like, well, someone evil like that found the city of gold and was able to do bad stuff with it or attack it. So he was able to get the Mask of the Sun and do some bad stuff. So it tells the Mask of the Moon, which I think I said was mentioned earlier, I don't remember, but saying about how that can help counter the Mask of the Sun. And after doing that, some stuff happened. My mind went a blank. Okay, so the Fonz's disciples, or however you want to say, use that Mask of the Moon to basically sink the city of gold, just to hide it. So, for safekeeping, I guess. Alright, so now we know the whole story. So she says, my task is done, my work is done. And her corpse disintegrates. And we get the orb. So from Sage Arya there. The Orb of Hope. And save. So if you die, you don't want to go through that again. So then it's going to do a little bit of these as we go. And try a quick thing here. See if it works that way. Yes, it does. Cool. And go right behind her and going in front of him before, so it's kind of a nice little thing, just to little route adjustment to make for myself. Alright, so we're getting these as we go. Our health isn't too bad. We are going to get a full refill before we leave this place, so it's mostly the concern is if you get kind of trapped like that, you just get kind of a unexpected hit like that, so your saving really becomes critical. The only place you really can't save in this game is boss fights, like in the middle of a boss fight, so just being a little cautious here. And then there's the flower we need. And wasn't quite expecting it, so we fell. Alright, so let's get up to 10,000 gold. That's why I saved my game. So, and it's like this. I tend to do a little bit more saving depending on the risk level I'm currently at. So right now it's a bit dicey because of my health being a bit low, but it's just when in doubt, save, because it does save you some time if you have to recover from all that. So Big thing is just don't walk straight into the enemy, just go down a little bit. Thankfully, these enemies don't do a lot of vertical movement. So we're almost there for this part of the grind. And just going to switch back to this one. And of course, there we go. So swapped back to the silver bracelet. So here's a nice little fountain that's dual purpose for us. It's going to restore our form and also all our health and stuff. So very nice. And going to equip the Rota Ring. And then go right. And he says, oh, I need to go to here. You got the flower. Let's go back to my lab or whatever at the clinic. And he says, oh, talk to the elder while I get things figured out. So we'll talk to the elder. He says Lemnis is fine. Go talk to him. And we find Lemnis is now part of the militia, trying to do his duty to protect the village. And then Dr. Flair is out here. And he says, hey, let's go back to Asteria. Basically where we ditched all our friends at the beginning of the game. So before we do that, though, we have to go to this bar we couldn't go to earlier in the game because all the soldiers were there. But they left for some reason because they also heard about something at Asteria that we have to go get there, I guess. So go through all this and go on the ship to go back to that place and down the steps. There we go. All right. So now another cutscene. So far, I'm making pretty good time. And in this part, we kind of see how once we shove off here, we'll get a cutscene to get us updated on the wrongdoings of the enemy and stuff. So here we see General Leo talking to the Clan of Darkness, so we know now they're in league with each other. So he wants to get the Mask of the Sun for himself to get into the City of Gold and get all the gold there and stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll help you. We're sending Gaddis to Asteria to defeat Adol and stuff. But General Leo also gives them the Cleria equipment we had at the beginning of the game. It's like, it's really cool stuff, we just can't use it, so here you go. So that will be significant later on. Oh, that's the big thing. They found out the Mask of the Moon is at Asteria. So they're like, oh, Gaddis will get the Mask of the Moon. Don't worry. So now we're back. We can play again. It's not as bad of a cutscene. Dr. Flair, I guess, had to talk to someone here. So in Mask of the Sun, the Super Famicom version of this game, you don't have to go to Asteria at all, which is kind of a fascinating twist on this one. So you get a little bit more content because of that. We're going to warp back to the town so we can skip having to go through two screens. We just go back to this one screen. There we are. So Dogi's like, where'd you go? Well, water under the bridge. See you later. And now we're getting a really good sword, and we're going to the next village to progress forward. It's all peaceful, so it's all town music as you walk through this area. Like in use book 1 and 2, you would be seeing a bunch of monsters around this area. But we got rid of them, I guess, so there we go. So now we gotta talk to a couple people, including one person who can translate what's on that tablet that we found. So I think that tablet mentioned either the Mask of the Sun or something up with the goddesses of ease. So talk to her, and now we get to talk to this person. We need the harmonica. And now we'll equip it. And then we got to go through this mine. That NPC sometimes, that little girl, can be in front of that mine sometimes, which is not so nice. I think it's just an RNG thing, but it gets to be quite annoying. So going through all this, we have a few floors to get through. But ultimately I'm just trying to be quick and avoid running into people so I have less conversations. They're short ones, but still it's annoying. Doing very well on that part. Very maze-like place, so it's just, again, this game, they really had fun with the level design, just making big dungeons that kind of have some maze-like characteristics to them. Okay, so I play the harmonica right in front of the statue of one of the goddesses of ease, and a fun conversation. Guess they know it's from the last game.
再会を喜んでいる時間はありません。再びあなたの力が必要なのです。アドルさん、お元気でしたか？レアです。あなたが持っている石板に書かれている通り、私たちは有翼人の王国エルディーンよりこの地にやってきました。あの黒い真珠とともに。樹海の伝承を思い返してください。私たちと同じようにエルディーンを逃れ、太陽の仮面とともにセルセタに渡った有翼人たち。彼らの最後の子孫があのエルディール。彼は今地下深く封印された太陽の仮面を再び呼び覚まそうとしています。そしてその力を
So basically they're telling us that they have the Mask of the Moon and give it to us, and that we have to stop Lord Arem from being resurrected. Something like that. And to not let it fall into the wrong hands. Be much easier when it's the English version on this. But that's okay.
2年前のラームの復活もその魔力によって生きながらえていた彼の仕業。そう、ジークファクトこそがあのダルクファクトの正体なのです。
They're telling us something about Keith Fact? I don't know. Next section here, I need to warp back to that town, equip my stuff, and then keep going. I think he's telling us that Lilia, our friend, has been kidnapped. We got the Mask of the Moon, which is a great item. Pivotal item later on in the game, so definitely need it. going to equip that one, and there we go. Again, kind of a rule to have. Anytime you get through a long cutscene, save afterwards. If you die, at least you don't have to go through it again. Because you can't skip these cutscenes, as far as I know. So, trying to be helpful. Then we're going to exit through the northeast. This part can be a nice treat for people who enjoyed Ys Book 1 and 2. So now we're got to go back to Darm Tower. Gosh darn it. And fight Gaddis and get Lilia, or free Lilia. It's also going to be a spot where we're going to grind 3 levels. We'll go through this entrance here, the side entrance. And get to some fun music here. Now these enemies, they give more experience, but they are a pain to fight because they are a little bit more mobile than other ones, so I'm going to be saving a little bit more. And I'm just going to get to where I only have about 500 left, because I'll get the rest of that as I go further. Now the damage is not a bad thing in this area, because for the next boss fight, I do want to have some damage. The lower the life, the little bit better. So, does make things a little bit riskier, but that's fine. There we go, and we keep going. High concentration of those guards in this area, so you do get good chances of leveling up here as you go. We'll go to that little door thing later. For now, we don't need to. But we just need to go up this area to get one item that will be very, very useful later on, called Fresh Fruit. That item, if you use it, will instantly give you a level up, kind of like rare candy in Pokemon. There's only one of them in the game, unfortunately, so it'd be cool if we could duplicate it, but this game, you don't get items by quantity, so... So we are at the level we want to be. Our health is probably a little higher than I would like, so I might just try to take some damage. We'll see how risky I go with it. Then we need to equip the Mask of the Sun, which lets us see that. Then we'll equip the Mattock. Hey, you get to use an item again. Isn't that cool? So... it's a neat thing about this game, some items get to be used multiple times in the game, unlike other ones. It seems like, yeah, you get this item, well, use it once. So, there we go. I'm going to take at least a hit. There we go. Give myself a little bit of an easier time with a boss coming up. Okay, and then I'm going to equip the herb just in case for the next battle coming up. Lots of stairways to get there, though. Again, not worrying about saving too much before the battle because the game is going to give me kind of a checkpoint save. But don't reset the system because it's not an actual save. Unless you save afterwards. So Gaddis is telling us how he's going to kill us and take the Mask of the Moon with Keith Fact, who is a descendant of Sig Fact or Dark Fact from the other games. Kind of a neat little teleport thing there. And Lily is like, don't fight! And Keith is like, I'm going to kill you. He's just kind of like letting the evil take him over, I guess. That was a good battle. Alright, so pretty much it's a battle you're supposed to lose there. Just kind of a quick one. So that's why low health there helps just to end it faster. And the goddesses of ease are there to basically help Keith out and say, you shall no longer control the mind of Keith or anyone of the Fact lineage. Something like that. And then that's going to be the last we see of him for the entire game. I think so anyway. That nice refill we get here, which should be useful for this next boss, which is quite a bear to learn. Because it's a fun boss battle for sure. This game has very, very fun boss battles, but it's just, they're tough to learn. Because you can get killed very quickly if you're not careful. Which is why pretty much whatever battle you're at, have an herb. Have it equipped. Even if you're very confident, save yourself a little bit of time. A lot easier for that to get a new herb rather than having to do otherwise. So his first attack, he shoots fireballs. He's using the fire wand that we had. Flip and doodle. So this is a very deadly attack. That one can quickly take your health down like that. So he's doing a charge shot now, which is really cool. It's like, that's kind of how I learned about charge shots in this game, was from him doing that. So that attack, when it's going left, I don't even try because usually I get hit more than anything. So good fight. So very tense battle, but works out pretty well. And because of that, hey, we get our fire wand back. So, kind of a neat story way, you know, kind of a driven mechanism there. So, really, really cool. So all the guards are like, oh crap, we gotta get out of here. Our boss was killed. So then we'll warp over and then go talk to Lilia and Keith. Keith says sorry. I'm gonna quickly check what I need to do next. Okay, that's where I'm going. Alright. Another round of cutscenes and we will exit Asteria.
は心を司る神官の子孫だというのに、その心を操られるなんて。
もういいんですキースさん。さあ下に降りましょう。
So we leave the tower together. Everyone's like, yeah, Adol, you ditched us, but that's okay, buddy. We understand. You gotta do what you gotta do. And before this gets too far, I am going to equip the fire rod. Because I am very good at accidentally I do a great job accidentally pressing the warp button instead, so it's kind of my way of just doing this. And Timmy's back.
おじいちゃん。
おお、ティム、わしがわかるか。
当たり前
Of course, we don't have to worry about him ever again. He's going to learn his lesson, and he'll be okay. So he's like, oh, I need to stretch my legs. I'm going to go for more Sonic runs.
待つんじゃ、ティム。
The grandpa's like, don't go out of town. Stay here.
わかったな。まったく人の気も知らんで困ったやつじゃのう。ま、元気になって何よりじゃわい。
But is he going to listen?
それにアドルさん。
That's a spoiler.
ありがとうございました。あなた方がいなかったら。
Okay, and then we just need to talk to Dr. Flare. Just say, well, we did it. Good job, buddy.
君はこれからどうするんだい？僕は
And the kid, of course, is just out of my way.
ティム君は少し元気になりすぎたみたいだね。おや？
Then we see a Roo. That looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? That's the form we had earlier. So, kid's gonna follow that Roo. Something to think about there.
ティム君、待つんだ。言ってしまった。アドル君、ジェフさんたちには内緒でティム君を連れ戻してはくれないか。これ以上心配をかけたらかわいそうだからね。何？出て行ったばかりだからすぐに捕まるさ。
Let's make sure I have that bracelet equipped, because we need to go up 2 more levels. Which is annoying because these enemies coming up are kind of painful. At least last time I did this grind. They hit hard. The higher you get in this, the harder the enemies hit. That's kind of a rough reality on it. Especially with our armor. That's not equipping any new armor. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of avoid these enemies because they can really hit hard. And not in a good way. I want to attack more of these silver ones there, because they give great experience. And it's definitely a spot where you want to keep saving, because you might accidentally leave the screen like that or whatever, but it's just... those enemies hit hard. You can just see your health just drop very quickly, and it's not a good time. So far, we're doing pretty good. Better than yesterday, that's for sure. Just be very cautious as you go, is the big thing. So far, so good. Let's go into there just to respawn that one. Whoops. Tough thing is the safest spot to fight them is like at the border, where it's just, you have a good chance of just going off the screen. Alright, so on to the next spot. Very good grind. Very, very good grind. I was not expecting to be full life as well, so it really, really helps. Usually I get, like, bad hits from the enemies and whatnot, so...
わかった。僕を連れ戻しに来たんでしょう。そうはいかないよ。
So Timmy's just gonna be a jerk and just start heading out. We get some really good music. And we gotta say yes to both the things he asks. He's like, "You're not gonna take me back to town, are you?" He's like, "I'm going." It's like, "You may think you're gonna take me home, but you're not." Type thing. It's just like, wow, what a great kid. You save his life. You do all this crap for him, but whatever. Timmy be Timmy, I guess. And he's showing us, oh, this cool thing here, and now we take some damage from it. So, guess what kind of a puzzle we have coming up soon? Uses those things. So, definitely a good time to save when you get to that spot, which I will definitely be doing because it is instant death if you get hit too much by one of those. You can quickly get just smushed by it. So, go up and over, here, down, down, here, this. There we go. That's nice and smooth-ish. Now there is a faster way of doing it, but I just go with what currently feels better to me. It's just the amount of time savings would be like a couple seconds probably, and I just don't have things optimized that much yet for that detail. Pretty much I'm just trying to make sure I don't mess up. This is the biggest thing during the run. So we're almost through this part. This is one of the biggest pains to learn in this game because there's just a lot to this area, but you do it enough and then it's not too bad. Just a lot of stuff to navigate. The nice thing with these is there is an herb if you need, but we don't need to get it, so we're just going to keep going. Again, awesome music. The theme of Adol 93, I think is what it's called. Go on there, and then go southwest. Southwest again. Dang enemy. We will be getting a health refill, so it's not as much of a problem there, but the enemies can I've been killed there a couple times, and it's like, if you didn't save, then you've lost a bit of time. So Timmy says we're trapped. Uh-oh, what are we going to do? That door is locked. And we'll just hang out here. And we see, hey, it's our buddy Adol, or Dogi, Breaker of Walls. He's like, hey Adol, I found you. I was supposed to rescue you, not the other way around. Who's this kid? Did he get you into this? Type thing, so. He's like, I'm taking you out of here, kid. And the kid's like, hey, don't. And he's like, shut up, we're getting out of here. Type thing, so. Then we all walk together out of here. Through all the holes that he has busted through this place. Which is kind of funny. Because at this point the kid picks on him. It's just like, why are you making all these holes when this door is unlocked? Just kind of a funny thing there. And then the kid refills her health. So that's kind of a nice little feature there. Then we will equip the herb because we have a boss battle coming up here. Against a not nice person. Whose voice was that? Oh, it was Gaddis because he took our altar wand, so he still had it. Oh. He's telling how El Deal brought him back to life. So he could have a second chance to fight us.
ダームの塔でお前にやられたガディスだよ。
So he didn't spend enough time in the revive oven, but that's okay. Now we got a tough boss battle. Another one that is... looks a little bit easier, but it's just... the rhythm is... there's a lot of spots where you can quickly take damage, so... Herb definitely have it going. So this is kind of an interesting pattern on this one, so this will be definitely a focus time one for me. Fire that, let's hit, then get the fireball up there. So two things can happen, either the hands go back to the sides or they try to grab you. If you stay in the center too long, that grabbing is what happens there, so... Still doing fine. I think it's faster if they try to grab you. But just a little bit more and then we'll have them defeated. So bring that up there. On that one. Okay, that was good. There we go. That was a close one. That could have been a death there. Fortunately, it wasn't. You were able to, when he grabs you like that, you gotta kind of shake there. It's just that second fireball is what can really throw you off. Okay. Get that, and the Claria shield, or Clelia shield on this one. And we're going to equip that one, this, and actually that. There we go. Now it's time to get out of this place. Again, some fantastic music in this game. Just getting through all these steps. And thankfully, the walls that Dogi broke also help us get out of here faster, too. Alright, so, time to warp. It's funny to see the big hole that he made there, too. Okay, so now... oh, wrong place. That's one bad thing about this game. I can get sometimes mixed up. Okay, so then we will equip the Altar Wand. And we're getting ready for a future part coming up here. Now we can swim in the water. Now there is a chest on the water that Mabo gets called the Battle Armor. I'm not sure if it does anything to you aside from just added armor protection. So I'm just avoiding it just to have less stuff to get in this. Oh, we got bombarded by conversation, but we're okay. A lot of the monsters in this game, when they talk, are like, oh, watch out for the red-haired swordsman. Stuff like that. So it's kind of fascinating to see that. And we get to go down the rapids again. back to the really cool music. And we will equip that and that. And save. And now we have our next grind spot. We're going to get up 4 levels. Or 3 levels. These monsters here give great experience. Thankfully, they are very easy to defeat. Make sure. Okay. Yep, that did not help me. My phone is going off quite a bit. Dad duty stuff. Alright, so 1 level. 2 more to go. Thankfully we didn't lose too much time there, but it's just kind of an annoyance. 2 levels, 1 more to go. Alright, so then at the level we need to be. Then we will talk to this the elder here of the village. And talk to personal mix stuff for us. And then we need to get 1 item here. Just gonna make sure I got the right one. Yep, I did. So then equip the warp wand, and we are going to warp to Fire Village. And then we are going to get healing here real quick. Healing real quick. Sorry, brain has got a little distracted. Okay, and then we are going to need to unequip a lot of this stuff because we need to infiltrate the fort that we were trapped in much earlier in the game. Since that person we talked to on the north side of the village by that cauldron, they can mix potions for us, and in order to progress in that area we need to have a black potion made, which involves gunpowder or something like that. I think it's called kibby dust in this, but either way we need to get it. So since we're in our equipment from the beginning of the game that the guards wore, they think we're one of them. But won't work twice, but it does work at least once for us here. The second time would be if we were getting Leo's equipment later on, which is best armor in the game, or best equipment in the game, but we're not going to be doing it during this run. There's just no reason to do it. If this was the new game, regular new game one, then probably for a grind later on, but we're just going to avoid that. Now, all these guards are going to just be really easy to defeat because we're much higher level. Oh, I went up 1 extra level than I needed to. Oh well. I think we'll be okay. So as we're going up, Leo is saying that we need to, he's pretty much saying, hey, get that person who's in this place or whatever, who's the invader, because it turned on an alarm. He's like, no, I'm going to go to get some sleep. The guard's just incredulous. Nope, do not warp yet. So I guess we'll have an easier time against that one boss, but that's okay. So this is that guard that rang the bell earlier. We're chasing them because they have the key we need. So storehouse key, and then we'll get that, and then we'll go on from there. But instead of warping right back to the Moon Village, we need to go to the Water Village again because we need to go to the Lake Temple that's there. Or Water Temple, however you want to. It's something. So open that door, get the Kibby Dust. There. Then we will equip this. And thankfully we avoided conversations pretty well. Yes, we did. Good. And more relaxing lake jazz of the lake. Now one of these islands do have the battle armor, which Mabo got in his run that did really well. So it's just more wild on his skill for this game. I think someone said Mabo is a monster at ease, and pretty much, yeah, he's extremely good at it. Very, very good. So, and this run was from 2016, so it's kind of been fun excavating this run and getting further into it. So this is the Water Temple. We're in our animal form not only to avoid enemies, but also be able to swim. So we get a couple items as we go. First one is going to be the it's the water gate key, I want to say. Thankfully, it's not. This is probably one of the easier dungeons to navigate. It's just first time playing though. It is a little bit of a pain, but still a really fun place, and the music's really dang good. Harlequin's Temptation is the name of the song, I think. We'll go through here. So we need to open up that one door that we need to get to. And admire the awesome animation skills of the artists at Hudson Soft that made this. Very good stuff. Just cool how the water just changes direction as it hits the corners. Very cool effect. Well, we're getting one of the worst water rides ever. And back to it. Yeah, big thing here is I'm just trying to keep my movement optimal. Just cutting corners when I can. Getting up to here. And then down the steps. And we are almost ready for the next boss. Just need to switch to the fire wand once we get past these enemies that are very talkative, but also like to get in our way. Alright, so we go. So the water wielder, one side first. We just destroy these statues just to take care of its shield. So it's a really neat boss battle for this. So and very good boss fight. And we have a conversation here, and we'll get the Ice Wand. It's a really cool magic in which when you freeze an enemy, you can defeat it with one hit. So, enemies that it works on, very cool. We're not going to use it often in this run, but it is there just to make things a little bit easier. After this, we are going to warp to the Moon Village and get what we need there. First, we need to equip that one wand. So I'm going to first equip this, then equip the wand, and we'll go back to the Moon Village. And we'll give them the stuff we need to get the black potion. Alright, so we got what we need, and we can exit. Now the black potion we needed for this barricade that we're going to encounter here shortly. Fortunately, it takes half our health, which we can't do much about. This mysterious old lady gives us this talisman and says to make sure we equip it, and laughs as she leaves. Do not equip it. It's will take away periodically 10 MP from you, so it's kind of a... It's like, okay, why is she giving us an evil item or a bad item? And it becomes significant later on. Oh, there we go. Equip that. And what I'm going to do is use this item there. And, oh, broke the mirror, but that's okay. We don't need it for long. Alright, so then we're going to continue on. There we go. That worked out pretty well. Use that to cross the bridge, and there is a spot earlier on in the game, in that first Fire Mountain, that you can use that ice stuff against a similar bridge like that. But here it works great just because that'll get you an item called Samson Shoes, which we won't need at all for this run. But it's a good one to use if you're learning this game or just playing casually, since it allows you to greatly decreases your speed, but then allows you to defeat enemies with one hit. So it's really good to use. I'm actually going to equip the herb now that I think of it. Prep for a boss fight coming up. So this cool dungeon is Escher's Space, mainly because you're going to be doing some neat navigational stuff through this maze. This also has in this area the magic ring, which doubles magic damage, however only works against enemies. It's a good thing to mention. Any rings in this game only do not work against bosses. They just work against normal monsters. So, it really doesn't matter what we equip against this boss. Mainly if you're Yeah, so next section here is more of a confusing maze because it's Escher space, so it's just having some goofy overlapping of things and whatnot. So they had a lot of fun with this. But thankfully, once you learn the route, it's not too bad. This boss fight coming up, though, is a pain, or can be, so I'm going to focus pretty hard when I'm against this boss. Okay. He's moving around to avoid him. Shot. I'm going to use the herb just to be safe. And charge shots are your friend during this battle. And the boss is going to throw out this annoying ball, which is annoying as heck, and that's the reason. It's basically periodically moves to your position just to bug the heck out of you. See, sometimes I'm just moved through that just because a little bit less damage to do it that way. So we should be defeating this boss here fairly quickly. Ugh. Mash too fast in this game. There we go. Oh. That was a good fight. One of the most annoying bosses in the game. Just absolute rage fuel. I am going to warp back to the Earth Village just to make sure that I get another herb, though. But before the next battle, because you definitely want to have an herb for that boss battle coming up. It does cost me some time, but I don't have any choice. So this one gives us the Seeker Wand, which lets us see hidden passages. So then we're going to equip the Warp Wand. We're going to go to the Earth Village and get what we need, which is just an herb. And then warp back to the Moon Village. Then going to equip that, and going to equip the Mask of the Moon there, and there we go. Actually talking to that old woman from before who says, "Hey, can I see the Mask of the Moon?" Oh, it's Garuda! Hey, he was the one who gave us that bad stuff earlier. Thing is, if you equip the Mask of the Moon, you can get right to this spot a little bit easier. Otherwise, you'd have to use Seeker Magic, so it's kind of a neat little thing that Mabo found. Mabo found so many things in this. It's just wild watching his run. His understanding of this game is quite awesome. Now, since we have all the wands, we can talk to Lord LaFons himself. Or the Fawns. Who tastefully uses emeralds on his pauldrons. And we're getting closer to the end of the game. We're kind of getting close to the final dungeon. Or final area, in a way. Or a different way of putting it. It's kind of multiple dungeons. Ultimately, he's telling us that since we have the 5 magics, he can give us one more, which is really good to have. And he says that if we have the Cleria equipment as well, at some point we can get, but we need to defeat Arem if he's, I think, something like that. This game has a lot of lore, but it's really good. And I think he's mentioning the Mask of the Sun or something, but I think I'll probably just wait on lore explanation unless until it's the actual game happening. So we got the shield wand, which is very good to have. One more cutscene where he says he's going to bestow upon us his righteous intent, which is in the English version what he says, which basically powers up our fire and ice spells. And we'll need to go up 2 levels, but thankfully the area that we're going to, we can do that fairly quickly. Alright, so down here. Now, as these enemies go, I'm just going to just beat them as I go. Just hit them with some ice. Now I want to switch back to this. This lets us skip a little conversation with Deer in there. If we did not have it on, we'd probably lose about 5 or 6 seconds. So coming up here, and our friend Robin is there. He wants a yub nut, so we'll go ahead and get that for him. So we're going to again just kind of get out of here like this. And I'm going to switch to this and to that one there in preparation for some grind that we're going to be doing. So and this lets us get a little bit of the way as we go. And then when we get to this point up here, we'll switch to the shield wand and start going back and forth grinding here. Just making sure of course I did not equip the silver bracelet. Should have done that a lot sooner, but there we go. Could have been a lot worse. So I have some more optimization I can do when I play this game later. Future practice. Now, as I'm doing this, my health is slowly draining. The shield wand basically makes me invulnerable to enemy attacks, since enemies can defeat me quite quickly here. So, watching my MP, because at one point I will need to use the Rhoda fruit that I got earlier, which restores all your MP. So I'll go to here. That was not nice. Okay, there we go. And then equip this back on so that we're getting that benefits. Notice we are defeating some invisible enemies. They give the best experience here, so we're just kind of going for those. Come on. Alright, so quickly take that off. Switch to that, then go to the altar wand and put that on just so we can gain a little bit of MP back. And then put that back on and he'll let us through. I am slightly nervous because I was hoping I'd have a little more MP, but we'll do the best we can here. So we're here, and Eldiel is intending to resurrect the City of Gold, which he needs to sacrifice some blood, of course. But he has the Mask of the Sun to do it.
レファンスのカゴを得たようだな。だが我らが恐れていたあの力までは手にしていないと見える。
So he's going to put that on his face and still project through it pretty well as he's doing that. Then Bami says, I will not let you interfere. So, then attack me, boy. So this is a very fascinating boss battle. Use the herb if you need to. Yeah, I'm doing it. We're going to be going to the Earth Village anyway, and we need to buy a couple items, so it's one of those boss fights where if you need to use an herb, just go ahead and do it. There we go. Good fight. Then we'll get this item, the Claria armor. So now we get some better armor in the game. And now, 7.5 minute cutscene. So I'll be right back. Great pace so far.
我が願いがついに現実のものとなったのだ。
エルディール様。
復活した太陽の仮面とこの素晴らしい都のために今ここに生贄を捧げようぞ。リーザ、協力してくれ。お前の血が必要なのだ。グルーだ、貴様。
ご苦労だったな、エルディール。お前をやるのは力を使い果たした今しかないからな。なぜ今まで黙ってお前に従ってきたのか考えたことはなかったのか。我ら闇の一族の目的はただ一つ。太陽の仮面の力を利用し我が一族の王アレム様を復活させることなのだ。そうとも知らずに我らに力を与えてくれたお前には心から感謝しているよ。アドル、お前が持っていた剣の切れ味は抜群だったよ。そこで指をくわえて見ているがよい。この地上がアレム様の前に焼き尽くされるのをな。
リーザ、今さら言えたきりではないが許してくれ。私が間違って。
エルディール様、死なないで。エルディール様。
ついに我々が700年の間守り続けてきた封印は解かれてしまった。
その有力人を攻めてみてももはや何の解決にもならない。残る道はただ一つ。復活しつつあるアレムと共に太陽の仮面をこの地上から永遠に葬り去ることだ。
しかしそのためには第7の魔法を手にせねばならない。太陽の仮面に対抗しうる唯一の魔法、エルドラン。それはかつて太陽の仮面自身が作り出した究極の魔法。
アドルよ、古代都市に向かうのだ。そしてこの災いに終止符を打ってほしい。
エルディールよ、行きましょう。仲間たちの待つ安らぎの世界へ。もうあなたは孤独ではありません。あの方はずっと一人ぼっちでした。結局私はあの方の心の中には入れなかったんです。最後まで。ハドルさん、ラパロの村に帰りましょう。私を連れて行ってください。
All right, let's continue on. Yeah, so using that herb with Bommy, the main time you lose is just the time it takes just for the just that refill. Otherwise, it's not too much of a detriment to do it. So if you have to do it, don't feel too horrible. Thanks, Sin. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Glad you enjoyed this game. Another cutscene. I can eat more.
でもどうすれば開くんだろうな。めんどくせえ。こんなもんぐらいこのドギ様がぶち破ってやる。さらーボーンはぶねえじゃないか。誰だこんな真似しやがったのは。
こりゃ悪かった。我々を出し抜いてこの都に入ったりするからだ。古代の財宝はすべてこのレオ様が、いやロムン帝国が押収する。お前たち死にたくなければそこを動くなよ。兵士たちを突撃だ。
Being so nice. To make sure we don't get ran over by the tank, he just pushes us out of the way. Thanks, General Leo. Yeah, I think I still had to go through the fire floors twice, but it's definitely a pain. This is one of the worst dungeons to navigate. I pretty much studied Mabo's run. I was like, oh, okay, and then finally got to the point where I was like, okay, I think I can keep this going here. Okay, so that and. Need 2 levels. The first time I played through this, I got stuck in this area for probably an hour or two. They have so many just loop arounds in this one. I hate that fire floor so much. Maybe not as much as those gargoyles hate that tank, but... I dug more into the turbo of using that in a run. This game has it where if you mash the button too fast, it'll just stop shooting fireballs. So there's almost a rhythm type thing to it, which is kind of odd. But like I tried both this controller and my other one, you know, just the standard one, and both did the same thing. And tried on the Mister as well. It's just too fast of the input on that one button, and then it stops shooting fireballs. But it's like, okay, is it holding the button down? But it's not going to charge a fireball, so it's just really odd that they did that in the programming. Alright, worst floor in the game. Poor guards. They tried. Oh, go get him, Leo. here. 2, go to the center. Up here. And go over here. That's what gets me. Alright, we'll be fine. Could have been worse. 2. I'm up here. Over here. I need it all over here. Up here. And then up here. There we go. Could have been worse. Doesn't help them. Hate those fire flares. You do end up having to go through that again, though, because you fall through the floor. The most annoyingly placed enemy. Just out of the way. There we go. Alright. Okay, that's Nail won the race. Okay, so west, north, west, south, 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 east, south, west, and stairs. And west, south, either way. These dang enemies. And right and up. There we go. It's definitely a lot easier going through the fire floor just alone, but the big thing is just make sure you save. Yesterday I did not save before that, and my save before that was when I was with Dogi, so that kind of crushed the run. There we go. Much better. Yay, the run continued. Gonna get a little more food eaten here.
なんと何も入っていないではないか。なんだ。財宝などどこにもないではないか。俺は何のために欲望ばかりを追求していた。これが
One could say that General Leo was shocked at what he found. Too soon. What a mean dungeon, though. Seriously. I'm surprised we did not hear him at all in that other castle that we had to go through. But then again, probably a good soundproof place. What a bro. What a friend there.
これ以上一緒に戦え
すまねえが、カーナの伝書バトを呼んでくれねえか。助けを呼ぶ手紙を書くぜ。
Okay, we use the flute once, just story-wise, in this run.
おお、来たな。
Just a reminder, all the commentary here is because I'll be running this at random encounters on
しっかりカーナ
February 8th at 9 a.m. PST
あとは大
and
丈夫だ。
noon EST on RPG Limit Breaks channel, so... We're going up here. And we'll stay in this form so we don't have to deal with any enemies, since we don't need to level up for a while, so... Also, being ran at that random encounters thing will be Ease versus Trails in the Sky alternate saga. It'll be ran by Stadelheim, so that'll be fun. Wow, that was quite an enemy that wanted to really a lot of fast knights here. But at that random encounters, I will be running the English version of this. Gotta have that attack me boy thing and all the other fun voice acting things in this. So I'll equip that and then make sure we got that equipped and we're set. Since rings do not do anything against bosses. Okay. Oh, that was a good bad aim there. Ah, they didn't go in for that nice little thing that they do sometimes. There we go. Gotta do it. There we go, looking good still. We're going to be warping back to the Fire Village anyway to get the elixir and stuff, so it's all okay. So I'll go with that, and then... Oh, we're going to the... Yep, Fire Village. Had to brain my thunk there for a sec. We will get the healing just to give us... Alright, so then warp back to the Earth Village. Nope. Earth Village. Bad thing about the Japanese version, it's just getting the options straight sometimes. Still doing fine though. Then we will equip the that there, and we'll leave the rotor ring equipped. Or loader ring in this one. And now we go up a whole bunch of times. Thankfully, we've kind of cleared our own path as we went. Thank you, enemies. Thankfully, they're not going to do too much to us. That's okay. So we need to go up 5 levels, I think, at the next spot. Thankfully, these floors are off now. Just gonna check. Okay, 332 on that. Oh, there we go. Back to the fawns.
アレムの鼓動が聞こえる。太陽の仮面は太陽の神殿の最深部に安置されている。だが太陽の神殿に入るのは二つの塔の結界を破らねばならない。物言う石によって守られた強固なる結界を。剣士、この魔法だけは永遠に封じておくつもりであった。しかしアレムが目覚めつつある今となっては封印を解かざるを得ない。クレリアの装備を全て集め再び我が前に立つのだ。その時こそお前に第7の魔法エルドランの
380 is
力
what
を
we're getting
与えよ
to.
う。さあ行け。
Something like that.
ブルーナを探し出しクレリアソードを取り戻すのだ。
3. Four. Nope, wrong one. Yeah, I think I ground to another level, so I think I need to adjust my leveling on that one part. Darn. I forgot to use the fruit too. Shoot. Oh, we should still be able to get a good time on here. Let's use the herb one, or use that one when we're done. Still decent pace though. This is gonna be problems here. Yeah, I must be. The gargoyle's going 336. I'll have to check that. Hmm. Oh well. So we'll just do that. I will need to equip the silver bracelet for the next part. There we go. Here we go. Gosh dang it. Alright. Relax, Dented, relax. Alright. These enemies sometimes can really sneak up on you. Alright, so I'll put that on and... Well, he doesn't have any gems on his pauldrons, but he has the spikes. So, and the gold on those pauldrons look really nice, so... Absolutely. Home stretch. Getting there. Thanks. ナイス。
アレム様、今こそ我らの世界よ。
Alright, the Fonz is going to make us style him. Not sure if it's going to be sub 325, but we'll see. Still has been a pretty good run. Still a lot to optimize a bit, but it's getting there. Alright, the LaFon's Rangers are ready to help us. Yeah, absolutely, Ventric. Steady progress. Had some good stuff tonight for sure. These enemies sometimes are just so annoying. It's like mobility makes the worst, or makes enemies so deadly in this game. So I just like, well, that enemy is deadly. Oh, does it do special attacks against you? No, it moves up and down a bunch more. It moves left and right a bunch when you're going at it. It's just orthogonal movement is just deadly against you in this one. Alright, so we won't need anything else. Oh, still equip that though. Need that equipped. And then got the Elderon stuff, so all we should need to equip is the there we go. Let's do this. The furrowed brow.
混沌の時空より我はここによみがえった。どれほどの時が流れようと我が怨念のついえることはない。この地上の生きとし生けるものすべてを地獄の豪華で焼き尽くしてくれるわ。
Alright, let's do this. Got the power of rock and roll helping us here. My thumb killer. Nice. Okay, that is a really good thing. I don't think I've defeated him with that little of refills in quite a while, so that's some big time save there. Alright. Mint flavor. Sword swings, yeah, stay away from those. I'm expecting to get a hit from the... have to use the elixir. It's almost like pretty much certainty. A better pattern. Okay. Time for the great pancake. Well, let's see what luck we have with the beans. Step on the beans.
まさか人間ごときにこれほどの力があるとは。だがまだ終わりではない。かくなる上は我が身もろとも貴様を地の底に引きずり込んでくれる。さまよえる我が一族の亡者どもよ、我が元に集え。
Nice. Oh, you butt. This game gets mean on this part. You want to step on the beans? Well, you're going to get the means. Okay. You're just going to do a fast one. Okay, one down. 2 to go. 1 to go. Of course, it's getting hit with the flashlight first. Almost. Nice. Okay, there we go. 324.49. Nice. Goal achieved. Thanks for the GGs, son. Wow. That is a... Wow. Much better than last time.